This is JD again with another showing of the Pioneer Podcast on the WETD 90.7 The Leap radio station. This time I have a club rep joining me, but before the interview, let me talk about how we can set you up for an interview for your club, organization, or your team. You can email me directly at my school email, curryjd@alfredstate.edu, CURRIEJD. Also, if you want to stay up to date with the show, you can subscribe to my YouTube at the Pioneer Podcast /radio show. And my Instagram is jdcurry18.
Okay, what's up everyone? I'm here with my guest from the Alfred State Esports Club/team. Go ahead and introduce yourself to everyone, Cam.
Hello, my name is Cameron Smith. I am a e-board member and I'm the PR. And today we'll be discussing esports. So thank you for having me on the podcast, JD.
How many years have you been part of the esports club?
Well, this is my first year actually. So this when I first came to Alfred State, one of the first.
Weighing on that.
Oh yeah, sorry about that. Coming to Alfred State, it was one of my first clubs that I was really interested in through both, personal playing, and I ended up being able to get a position on the e-board, which was it was a great opportunity for me.
How many games does the esports group play competitively?
We have Rocket League, we have League of Legends, Overwatch, and CSGO, but we are also getting Apex Legends, and there are future ones to come.
Does Apex actually have a competition day yet?
I do not know that, but what I do know is that they're assembling a team, and from what I've seen in the esports room, it's definitely going to be a good team.
How does the esports team usually rank in the college leagues?
Since it's my first year, I don't really know, but going off of previous information and history, and our current record this year, well, less of a record, more of a seeing how we do in scrims, I think we will do very well in our seasons.
So are you a freshman, or is this just the first year of the club for you?
I am both. So I am a freshman in college, and I guess you could say that my first year in the club is more just ever since I got here. It was almost like the first month when I was offered a spot. I took it gratefully, and it helped improve a lot of college life, actually.
So which which game do you play?
I am on the League of Legends team, and it is a 5v5. I'm assuming that this sport is, pardon me, going with League of Legends. The team is great. I love playing with my teammates. It's a fun sport.
How many players do they have on League of Legends?
We have 9 to 10 players right now, and there will be tryouts coming up again for the next half of the year or next semester.
Which other colleges do you play in the leagues or the games?
We've played Potsdam. We've played a mix. We've played Niagara, but otherwise not serious competitions, more scrimmages to see our skill levels. And these scrimmages have really helped build both of the teams, both gameplay wise and teamwork wise.
Was that including all the games or League of Legends?
So for League of Legends, those are the colleges that I've seen in my team or I've played against in scrimmages. But for other scrimmages, for other sports, that is, for like Overwatch, CSGO, and etc., I've seen a lot of different types of colleges. I don't know exact names, but what I do know is there's a mass group that we can play.
What is the oldest esports team that you guys have?
The oldest esports team? I would have to say, when you mean by oldest, you mean by how long?
The specific game.
The specific game? I would have to go either Overwatch or League, just based off of how much experience the players have had. I don't really know the background of the history of the club, but what I do know is the history of our club's players has been a lot throughout the years.
Has anyone from the Alfred State Esports team been able to go pro?
I do not know, but I hope that this upcoming years with our new players and people getting getting better, improving their skills and just becoming a great team player, I think that hopefully we will go pro.
So how do the captains of each of these games teams?
They do it based off skills. They go tryouts, and they help refine each player's skills. So it kind of goes along the lines of, hey, let's see how you're doing, give you opportunities, give you chances, and it helps. And the captain of each team will help build up each player with their unique skills, their role. So for Overwatch, the captains will help teach like, oh hey, this is one thing to do, and they'll help build up the players for their play style. For League of Legends, our captain has helped us learn farming techniques, lane oppositions, just general who to pick who into. So like certain champions are better against other champions, and it's just the whole team building that helps each team get better with the captains.
For a lot of games, there's actually an offense and there's a defense, right?
Mm-hmm. So for Overwatch, there's game modes where it's offense and defense, where you have to pay push payloads. There's capture points, but there's a mix of offense and defense, which will change play styles. Which I've seen almost every team play in some type of defensive manner in a play style that's required at the moment.
Now I'm going to okay, so Apex doesn't really have a defense. Right, that's more just offense, because I'm not sure about the other games, but there is like the map shrinks every single time.
Mm-hmm. With Apex, just from both personal experience and watching the Apex team. Oh, sorry. With Apex, the overall offense of it is more of the how can your team work together in this offensive strat. So yes, you can play a defensive manner in which you kind of lay back. This is just from my own experience where I used to play more passive and kind of go in. But from the new play styles, it seems that being more aggressive and getting more kills is better. You know, you get better equipment, better weapons, and it just helps you win overall. So I've seen a lot of teams like go all in, and it's the communication and the teamwork that they have to communicate to get their goal of winning, and which seems to build both the players and the general flow of this three-man team when it comes to the shrinking of the circle.
So now I'm gonna switch gears and start talking more about you.
Mm-hmm.
So with being a captain of the League of Legends.
Oh, I'm not the captain. I am a captain. Oh, sorry about that. Our captain is he's very experienced with the subject. And we have a captain and a co-captain. So the captain is what helps us, organize. The co-captain helps us in like champ select, where he can tell us, hey, take these runes or take these summoners. Well, most of the time it's a set summoners, which is like small little abilities. But he helps us form a team comp to adjust to the other team, in which the captain and the co-captain work really well together to help the team players form some type of game strategy, or at least a plan when going into a match.
So is there any like specific ways that he motivates his team?
What we like to do is it's a mix of being ourselves rather than like really stressed about it. We still are in the game mind focus, but we're not like life or death. It's more of the team bonding and more of the enjoying the moment, in which we will focus on the game and we will do our best, but we're not super stressed about it, and we are able to work with each other in the way that our flow as a team and as people. So if we start yelling at each other, it could disrupt the flow. But if we start communicating well and creating these team comps, it could lead to us having a lot of successful plays in a game and us winning. So to avoid like someone getting mad at someone else for not doing something, we just kind of brush it off and be like, next play. So we don't let past actions disrupt us. We keep focusing on the game, and we try to stay optimistic throughout the game. Whether we're playing down or whether we're super far ahead, we always have to have this in-game optimistic mindset with both the in-game actions and one another.
So do the teams replay each game or scrimmage looking for certain things?
For Overwatch, I know for a fact that they have nights where they'll rewatch their scrimmages and go over, hey, this is what we did wrong, this is what we can do now, and kind of learn from their mistakes. Even though like it could be a small mistake or a big mistake, they won't get beaten up about it. It'll be more of a learning process to help aid that player get better. So rather than someone just being like, oh, you did this wrong, good job, it's more, hey, this is what you could have done instead, try doing this next time, and supporting the player and their growth. Like for League of Legends, we've started watching replays of our games, and we've worked on warding, which gives us vision of the map so we don't get caught off guard. We've worked on team fights, we've worked on communications, we've worked on overall game sense to help improve our gameplay in matches.
So, do the other teams look for certain things? Like,
I assume that they will do the same. In fact, I believe that later in the match, later in the year when we start having actual matches, other teams will start to watch our scrimmages to study how we play, so they can counter that. And it's going to be this back and forth type of, hey, let's study our opponent so we will be prepared for today, as well as study ourselves so we can get better as a team.
so we kind of went over this, but the next question was, how do things that you find impact you to change your team strategy? Like, how do they impact?
So one of the things that we have been doing was there was a game in which we had a problem with warding. So we kind of was like, hey, this is an important spot to ward because this is what happened. Because the area that wasn't warded ended up leading to our bot lane, which is a duo lane getting caught off surprise multiple times, which did put their lane behind, but we ended up persevering through that game and won. But after that, we were like, this is an important hotspot area to ward, especially when it happens multiple times. And ever since then, I've seen improved warding from everyone, especially the bot lane, in which they will ward more to prevent getting caught off surprise and snowballing their own lane. But they're able to hold their ground and learn from their mistakes with the wards, so they won't be caught off guard as much again. And it's progressed through multiple games.
Basically, if you see something during a match and you highlight that and let everybody know, how does that change the outcome next time?
It's a mix. It's got a mix of different game modes. It's a team-based 6v6 in which there's different types of objectives. There's payload, in which you push a cart from point A to point B through points, like certain checkpoints. There's there's King of the Hill, in which a team will try their best to control a point for as long as they can to prevent the other team from controlling it. First team to 100% will win. There's a mix of other game modes, and it's just a general idea of how a team reacts to each map, because not every map will be the same. Like, if you get into a match, it will be that type of objective ideal, but each match could be something different. So some matches may be payload, some may be King of the Hill.
So I didn't have this in the original script, but I guess seeing not everybody is a gamer, even though both of us are, we could explain like how each game works and what the goal is, because I know Overwatch is like, isn't that like supply? Like,
For Apex, that definitely fits the last squad setting. But for League of Legends, I will agree that it's more of the let's see who's last standing, but it's more the team effort of a 5v5, because the way that League of Legends, the map or the objective is a 5v5 with different lanes and jungles. There's top lane, which is a one-person job. There's mid lane, also one person. There's jungle, which controls the routes between and throughout the map, while also, scaling throughout their own gameplay style. And then there's bot lane, which is a 2v2. And all these lanes have to coincide in a way, and just like it's one of those do your best in your role so your team can prosper at the end. Because throughout League of Legends, it goes from laning phase, in which you'll stay in these lanes to fight your opponent and try to get stronger than them, and then there's end of laning phase, in which teams will group up and start having mass 5v5s, in which it'll lead to, hey, let's try to pick someone off so it can force a 4v5 for an important objective. And the end goal is to have your team destroy the enemy's home base before they can destroy yours. But it's mixed with all these different objectives, like there's dragons that can let you get more damage, or there's buffs that let you prevent enemy healing or lower cooldowns for yourself. And just this mix of balancing objectives, team fighting, and just overall gameplay and strategy and skill of each player.
And then a great majority of the other games are just like basically the Hunger Games, last person standing or last squad standing.
I would say it's a third-person view, but more of like a aerial. So there's multiple ways you can lock onto your character in League of Legends. You can hover your mouse around the map, in which your mouse will control what your screen looks like. or you can lock the camera onto your character, but it is still like a bird's eye view, but not so far. It's kind of like your character's right in front of you, and you're looking from about just like a high point behind you, where you're looking down at them, but it's still at a nice angle.
And the other major difference is a lot of them are point of view, but League of Legends it looks different. I'm not sure what they consider that.
There's hockey play. I've seen some some Rocket League gameplay, and it's very interesting because I myself am not a good Rocket League player, and watching our team or the group that we have playing right now, I've seen their skills just simply just going into the air, doing these spins and scoring a goal is insane, and it's very impressive.
And then there's Rocket League, which that's basically just soccer with vehicles.
I don't always get to see the Apex team play their characters, but for the times that I've seen them play different characters to create a good team comp, in which it's come to the point where I've seen players play Crypto, correct? That's his name?
Yeah.
I've seen them like using ideas with Crypto, in which they'll have Crypto's drone fly with Pathfinder's hook, and Pathfinder's able to grapple onto the drone and swing around the map, which is quite fun to see. And it's just a mix of like team comps and other characters to try to get this flow. And I guess it could be good. It depends on the type of gameplay style strategy. But looking at that perspective, I guess there's really interesting ideas that you could pull off using Crypto and other characters to combo with.
The athletics of esports.
Baptiste is the newest one. In Overwatch 2, there's a new one. I do not know her name, but for normal Overwatch, for Overwatch 1, I guess we can say at this point, it is Baptiste. In which I have seen the team use Baptiste, and both playing against them just casually. I definitely see the importance of why Baptiste is a really good character in certain situations. With his ability to turn teammates immortal, his long-range heal, and his just general mobility as a character makes him a very good support to just help his team if they're trying to move fast or if they're trying to keep him alive and hold a point. It's just that mix of the team cooperation with the character as well as the synergy with other champions in Overwatch.
I have some new ideas to talk about, basically how the team is liking the new updates, characters, and other features of the games that esports plays. So Apex is one of the newest team games, but we just got Crypto. What does everyone think of him, and does anyone use that character?
Overwatch 2 is its own unique campaign almost, in which it's more of a PvE and story mode. And it takes these characters from the previous game and puts them into this story. Like, there will still be PvP, like we've seen at BlizzCon, the new mode in which is like a push back and forth, the giant robots. But it's more of the campaign story mode. Like, have you ever played Team Fortress 2 Man vs. Machine?
Well, that's definitely a team cooperation, team play right there. The latest character to be added to Overwatch is Baptiste, right?
It's a good game mode. I do recommend it. It's very fun. But its concept is your idea is to defend or attack. Most of the time it's defend in Team Fortress 2. Defend against waves of robots coming to get you, but from what it seems as Overwatch is that you're pushing against these waves. So it makes its own unique game mode involving the PvE and the story and the lore of Overwatch, but putting it in a whole new game, Overwatch 2, and kind of mixing up character abilities through trees.
So far everybody is liking him that has used him?
I would agree.
The latest character, that's oops. So what is Overwatch 2?
I don't know a lot about Rainbow Six either. I don't play a lot of it, but when I do, I don't do the best. But seeing our team, I do agree, like, they got skill. They have been adjusting to new maps, I guess, but overall I'm not up to date with the newest updates.
I personally am not.
In about, I think, the next 7 to 10 days, there's going to be a huge update, gameplay-wise, in which right now, there's normal objectives. There's dragons that I bring up earlier, in which if you kill certain dragons, they give you buffs. Well, in the new season, they're implementing a whole new map change. They're adding more obstacles, I guess you could say, and they're making these dragons much more important objectives. in which before Baron was the biggest and Elder God was the biggest. Not Elder God, Elder Dragon. They were the two biggest objectives. But they're adding a new thing called Dragon Soul, in which the first team to kill 3 dragons gets a huge buff that lasts for the rest of the game. So getting dragons will no longer be a, oh, sad thing we didn't get the dragon, or whatever, we won't play against it. It's, don't let the other team reach 3 dragons first, or else you'll be heavily behind. And it's gotten to the point where it's like there'll probably be new metas. Like, I am thinking of playing Cho'Gath top to have Cho'Gath's ultimate ability, or his ult, allows him to do this huge damage bite, in which he's good as a jungler, but I play top lane. But it's the idea of having multiple smites to help lock down these objectives and prevent them from being stolen. And it kind of goes into the idea of what's more important, the gameplay or the team fight. And in this new season, with these newer and more important objectives, it's going to become critical to play around Dragon rather than in this in the old season, in which it's Dragon would be nice to have, but it's not the end of the world if we lose it.
So I tried to look into Rainbow Six news, but is there anything really new with Rainbow Six?
We had tryouts recently, and I do believe that everyone who's tried out has shown a lot of skill, and I think that they will shortly have practices soon, but overall, I think they have a lot of potential as a team already.
Anything new for League of Legends?
For the esports world, I do not know a lot of, for the e-board room or the esports room, all I know is that we keep updating our stuff, keeping everything clean, just helping improve our club and keep everything going. I do recommend, if you ever have a chance to come on down, it's great. If there's an open computer, hop right on, sign in, enjoy your time.
Yeah.
It's a great environment to stay in. For me coming to Alfred State, one of the first clubs was in fact, esports I mentioned earlier, and it was the first club that actually helped me break from that social outcast and anxiety of being a freshman coming to college, I need to make new friends. I've instantly learned to be this has created a nice, friendly, and awesome environment that I can actually enjoy while being at college.
Okay, so for esports personally, the newest thing is the Call of Duty team.
Mm-hmm.
Have they had any practices yet?
Oh yeah, come on down, sign in. You can join our Discord and become a member. It's a great experience. You can try out for esports teams when there's tryouts. There's always announcements. We always hold events. A couple nights ago, we had a Scriblio event, in which was we just got together and played Scriblio. It's a nice little event. Everyone's down there is friendly. I guarantee if you go down there, you would have a good experience.
So, any other new things in the esports world?
But it was more of a side event later in the night, in which it was a team building exercise, but for anyone who wanted to come. Just a nice little night to be hey, let's just hang out, chill, and play some Scriblio.
So the nice thing about that is it's open to anybody. I'm not part of any of the teams, but I just hang out with a lot of people down there. So, so for tryouts, it's is it every semester for the games, or how does that work?
I think it is every semester, but what I do know is that if you keep up to date and ask, for what I know, we definitely are going to have just because I'm more of a League of Legends player, I know that we will be having tryouts for League of Legends in the upcoming semester. But for other teams, I believe it's going to be either the same or a slight mix-up. But if you ever have any questions about trying out for any esports team, come right down, and I'm pretty sure any of the e-board members down there will be able to get an answer for you.
Okay, thanks for coming down to the station, Cam.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you for having me.
Good luck to you on the esports thing.
Thank you so much.
So that is it for this episode of the Pioneer Podcast on WETD 90.7 FM radio station. Don't forget about the wrestling matches. Both are going to be at the Orvis Gym on Saturday. The first is going to be against Keystone at noon, and the second is against Ulster CC at 1:30 p.m. I wish all of our athletes good luck. If you want to stay up to date with the show, either follow my personal Instagram account at jdcurry18 or subscribe to the YouTube channel for the show, the Pioneer Podcast /radio show. Also, if you want your club, organization, or sports team to be featured on one of the upcoming radio shows, email me at curryjd@alfredstate.edu. CURRIEJD. Even if you don't have time to make the show, I can still give a shout out. All that is it for this episode. I might see some of you around this weekend, but otherwise, talk to you soon, Pioneers.